fine. KFI's own Corbin Carson is on his way to that location and will have more. Right now on the line is the stage at South Central. He's a presidential candidate. He's mad at the RNC. He says he's doing the RNC.
By the criteria for the debate fairly to Larry Elder. Essentially what the RNC has done is given an in-kind contribution to these 8 people that made it on the debate stage and subject them to a fine that could be as much as $100 million. Also, Fox News, by putting these people on the debate stage and ignoring the fact that Elder met the criteria that was set forth by the RNC, is also giving an in-kind contribution to these 8 people that could amount to a fine as much as $100 million. So we're filing that complaint tomorrow at 10 o'clock local time because I met all the requirements. The 40,000 individual donors, check. 2,200 had to come from 20 different states. Check. 3 polls submitted where Elder is at least at 1%. Check. The last minute vote, they said, well, one of them, the Rasmussen poll, we can't use because it is, quote, affiliated with the Trump campaign.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
I said, well, it's not affiliated with my campaign. They said, it doesn't matter. Any poll affiliated with any campaign cannot be used. And then after that, Rasmussen put out a statement on Twitter that said Trump had nothing to do with this poll. He never commissioned it. He never even authorized it. He never even knew we were doing it. And Elder had nothing to do with it. So therefore, there's no reason why Elder can't use our poll as one of the ones that he submitted to meet his criteria. So for all those reasons, I believe that I got screwed. We met the criteria, and we're filing the complaint, and down the road, we may even have to go to court.
How does your campaign move forward if you're going to be at odds with the RNC, which is basically running this primary process?
Well, that's a very good question. How does my campaign move forward when Elder's not on the debate stage so I can get up my phone numbers? Because the next debate is at the Ronald Reagan Library in California, my home turf, and you have to have at least 3% in the poll as opposed to 1%. So I really have been handicapped by not making a presentation to the American people tonight. However, I'm getting so much media because so many people recognize that it was unfair treatment. We're making record donations coming in from my website, LarryElder.com, because so many people are angry that I wasn't up there talking about some of the issues that I need to talk about, most notably the epidemic of fatherlessness. By the way, so that's tonight. Mention, quote, the epidemic of fatherlessness. Well, I've been on the same stage with him many, many times. He's never once mentioned, quote, the epidemic of fatherlessness, close quote, which I believe is the top domestic problem in America. I'm happy he did tonight. Hopefully the others will start doing it, and hopefully the media will start addressing what I consider to be the #1 social problem in America. And my point is, I'm the one who brought that issue front and center, and I'm pleased to have done that, and I'm pleased that at least one of the candidates is beginning to talk about it.
I said this to my listeners that I would ask this question of you. Larry Elder, do you actually want the job? Do you want to do the job as far as bringing America together, fighting with the Democrats? If you need to, molding consensus, what type of legislation are you ready to put forward? Do you want this damn job?
You know, Mo, my mother was a lifelong Democrat. My dad was a lifelong Republican. You should have been a fly on the wall to hear the discussion. They argued passionately and vigorously about various issues, but nobody called anybody a fascist. Nobody called anybody a Nazi. Nobody said you only care about the rich, you don't care about the poor. They argued civilly. I'm going to bring that same tone to the top job because I don't see any reason why we can't have civil discussion about abortion, about taxes, about spending without somebody being maligned as a fascist. Yes, I want this job. I believe that I've been talking about these issues for 40 years. I'm a pro-life, Make America First Again guy who's talking about the lie that America is systemically racist, the absolute crucial need for school choice. For example, one city, this key one, Baltimore, 13 public high schools in Baltimore, 0% of the kids can do math at grade level. Now, the teachers' unions are in bed with the Democrats. That's why they oppose school choice, even as party elites, whether it's Barack Obama or Gavin Newsom or Joe Biden have their own kids in private school. It is an outrage. I'm bringing these issues front and center, and nobody else is.
Can you actually, if you talk about how your parents would have talked about these issues, well, this is not a Tip O'Neill, Ronald Reagan type America in a political sense where they can actually reach across the aisle and get things done. Can you get things done if you were the Republican nominee / future president of the United States? Can you work with Democrats? Can you do something that moves America forward?
Well, it starts at the top. The top person sets the agenda. I can work with Democrats, but I'm not going to accommodate a Democrat just to accommodate them. I believe taxes are too high. If you don't, we're going to have a problem. I believe there's too much regulation. If you don't, we're going to have a problem. I believe the climate change alarmism is good and alarming. If you don't have that, we're going to have a problem. Ronald Reagan used to say, I believe it's much more alive but I believe if I can articulate these issues to the American people have common sense. Maybe their leaders don't, the Democrat leaders don't, but the American people do. If we explain things to show people that they're in their best interest, I believe I can get that kind of consensus that can get us back to a situation where in 1984, Ronald Reagan ran for re-election. He won 49 states. This conservative, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, lower taxes, low regulation guy who stood up to the Soviet Union, got 49 states to support him for re-election. I don't see why that can't happen again in America.
It can't happen that way in America again, only because we're not that same America. If you were president today, you would have a divided Congress. You would have to deal with a Senate, which is maybe a majority of Democrats, maybe a majority of Republicans. You can't necessarily forecast what that Congress would be in terms of trying to get your legislative agenda forward. And if the Democrats hate Republicans like the Republicans hate Democrats right now, it's nice what you're saying, Larry, but I don't think that you can get anything done. And I think this is the problem of Barack Obama. Just because you have these high-minded ideals, it doesn't mean that it's effective in terms of legislation. Would you disagree?
Well, Barack Obama had bad ideas. Barack Obama ran talking about there's no blue America, there's no red America. But when he's governed, he's given the race card time and time and time again. Most people, black and white, thought race relations would improve when he ended office. Most people, black and white, thought that would because he played the race card over and over and over again. Whether the Cambridge police acted stupidly, tried to study look like Trayvon. He mentioned Ferguson, even though Michael Brown did not have his hands up, did not say don't shoot. He said that racism is in America's DNA. He had an AG, Eric Holder, who said that regardless of race, America is a nation of cowards. He was the exact opposite of what I thought most Americans fucking hired when they elected this man. I'm going to be a president who's black, who's going to bring us together because I'm not going to be playing the race card. America has never been less racist. It's the only majority white country in the world that elected a black president. All three big cities in America, LA, New York, Chicago, have black mayors, even though blacks are not 50% of the vote in any of these cities. LA is just 9%, in New York 25%, and Chicago a third.
Yeah, I know you're the law, but I want to speak to you, brother to brother now. As an African-American man, I have not mentioned race. You've mentioned race 5-6 times in this conversation, and we haven't talked about race, but clearly you're making it a central point of this conversation. So I respectfully ask you, if you say that Barack Obama played the race card, let's say he did, but this is 2023, moving to 2024, and I haven't asked you about race, so why are you mentioning it?
Oh, come on. What do you think drove, let me finish, Flo. What do you think drove the George Floyd Black Lives Matter riot from May 2020 over the course of 4 months? The assertion that the police are engaging in systemic racism, the assertion that what happened to George Floyd had to do with his race, and the black lead prosecutor never even suggested that what Derek Chauvin did had anything to do with George Floyd's race. The Democrats have been pushing racism, which is what is driving the conversation on reparations, on race-based prejudice, on diversity, equity, and I'm going to do something about it.
But I'm saying, if you are the person who's going to multi-system, if you're going to unite America, and in this conversation right here, I'm not even mentioning race. I'm not saying that it isn't an inflammatory conversation for many, but if you're going to be the great uniter, then how can you do that if in a conversation which I'm not even mentioning race, you're making it an essential component?
If you don't know that a large number of black people believe that America is bedeviled by systemic racism, if you don't know that the Democratic Party...
But we're 9% of the population.
Let me finish, Mark. If you don't know the Democratic Party has been pushing this agenda, if you don't know that Joe Biden went to Howard University and said the number one threat to the homeland is white supremacy, I don't know what the hell he did.
No, but I'm saying, but my point, before we go, if I'm looking for an America that rises above that, can I ask you to, in this moment, not focus on that?
One more time, the reason that Barack Obama entered the Oval Office with a 70% approval rating, even though he only got 52% of the vote, because people thought he would bring us together racially. He did the opposite. I, as a president who is black, would do what I think most people thought they were doing when they hired Barack Obama. It is a major problem facing this country. It's getting people killed. This assertion that the police are engaging in systemic racism. It's called the George Floyd effect for all over America. In city after city, there are thousands of excess casualties, people that would not have suffered, would not be dead if the police were doing their normal proactive policing, but they're not doing it for fear of being accused of being systemically racist. And the Democrats and the media have been driving this, and I'm going to do something about it.
Larry Elder, can I get you to hold on to this commercial break so we can continue this conversation and I can hear more about your vision for America?
Absolutely.
It's later with Mo Kelly. My guest is the Larry Elder, the stage of South Central. We're getting into it. We're talking about all things about America and this candidacy. Now let's go to the KFI 24-hour newsroom and get an update on the shooting in Trabuco Canyon with Andrew Carabello.
Here's the latest from the KFI newsroom.
5 people have reportedly been killed in a mass shooting at a bar in Orange County. Officials say Cook's Corner in Trabuco Canyon is a popular biker bar in a tight-knit community. PayPal reports the shooter is dead after being shot by a sheriff's deputy. It says that he may also be a retired SoCal law enforcement officer who opened fire following a domestic dispute with his wife. At least 6 others were shot and are in unknown condition. The situation is still unfolding, so we'll update as soon as we have more information. Corbin Carson is heading out to the scene as we speak. A man from Eastville who was shot during a gunfight with deputies while barricaded in his house with family members is pleaded not guilty to more than a dozen felony offenses. The man admitted to 6 counts of attempted murder of a peace officer and other charges in exchange for his admission to the Riverside County DA's office. Dropped 3 counts of child cruelty after the domestic disturbance call in 2020. The man's hearing is set for October. And Hall of Fame wrestler and hardcore legend Terry Funk has died at the age of 79. His longtime friend and mentee, fellow WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley confirmed at a post shared on his social media account saying that Funk was his idol and one of the greatest wrestlers he ever saw. Right now there's a crash cleared on the 105 over in Hawthorne.
That's heading eastbound. Right at Crenshaw can move out of the right lane. Your driver is slowly recovering from the 405. There's 10 heading eastbound in Mid-City just before Robertson. Watch out for a pumped-out car that's stuck in the second lane from the left. Your driver's busy from Centinela. And some stop-and-go traffic if you're on the 101 southbound in Hollywood approaching Vermont Avenue. That'll clear up for you as you approach the 110. Pedro Moreno.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. Take control with Reputation Defender. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff. You can start by getting
approaching a railroad crossing
at reputationdefender.com or call 800-948-6033 to speak to an expert.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I haven't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm, and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
They can help.
Call 800-765-7703. 800-765-7703. Optima Tax Relief. For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Several years ago, the small good plumbers at White Diamond started offering drilling services for $99.
Plumbers everywhere got out there pocket donuts and took notice. Great Stoppage offers came out of the woodwork like cockroaches.
What is it? Stoppage prices, depending on the flyer or phone book you pick up. But the same way will range and quote you a price over the phone.
Here at Smoky's Plumbing Headquarters, we're asking ourselves if imitation is truly the greatest form of flattery. You might ask yourself if Plumber's price slashing is worth the risk.
You know our plumbers smell good, but did you also know we're relentlessly background checked and drug tested? Not only are we licensed, but every single technician is registered with the state of California. I bet a bucket of soap and a case of deodorant, but Bubba can't say that.
My diamond unstopped strings for $99. Find out more at thesmokingplumbers.com. You can call us at 1-800-446-MIKE. Contractor license number 399170.
This is my diamond, and I guarantee my plumber will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is coming back to T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas this September.
Superstar artists from every genre.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Buy tickets now at AXS.com.
Want to sell your valuable coins, high-end jewelry, collectibles, or fine art for more? Here's someone who will tell you why you should call Tangible Investment.
Hi, my name is Allie Eastburn, and I'm the founder of With This Ring.
With This Ring is Allie's charity.
About 11 years ago, I realized that the ring on my finger could literally save an entire village in Africa. So I donated that ring, and now we have rings coming in to our organization from women and men all over the world.
So who buys Allie's donated ring?
Tangible Investments. Our ring donors send their rings directly to Tangible Investments. More money for those rings than anyone else ever has.
With Phil's help, Allie is changing the world.
It helps us do what we do best, which is drilling clean water wells in Liberia, Africa.
Tangible Investment donor Phil D. Genova has become America's top dealer in coins, precious metals, jewelry, and fine art. He'll guarantee you'll get more.
Thanks so much, Phil and Tangible Investments, for all you've done for us.
Call now for a no-obligation free professional appraisal. 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800. 800-711-2800.
Reason for you to get around. The awesomest car sharing app in the world. Number 13. Rental agency sucks. How can the car so fast? They get around now. Didn't you have to fill out forms? No. Wait in line? No. Overpay? Nope. Adjust the seat for your freakishly long wait? Yeah, so I do that. Rent a car. It's the big car rental agency happy. Get around. Just book, unlock, drive. Save $25 on your first get-around trip with code NOLINE25. You know when you wake up and your mouth feels gross? And you just can't wait to brush your teeth to get that clean, fresh feeling again? That's exactly how millions of Navajians feel when they use Flor's supplements to rinse out their noses every day, just like brushing their teeth.